And action.
Okay, what we did was...
Right away, as soon as they're going to hear that.
And action.
You got to wait a second. Haven't you ever taken acting classes?
No.
Who are you?
About 3 or 4 years ago, and you'll see it under the channel Saratoga Steel, we did an install for the Curtis cab. At the time, I had different lights on top, but we got smarter after a while and put the better lights on. There were a few questions that came up, and one of them was, did we install a heater, or were we going to install a heater? Well, because this glass fogs up in the winter so bad I can't see to snow blow, I got a heater, and it was a Cozy Cab heater from the same place I got the cab. So we're going to install that today. The Cozy Cab heater comes with the wire wrap, comes with the hose, some electrical. I think these go in where the hoses go through the cab. Little switch for high and low fan. The actual heater looks like this. It comes with these out. You have to put these in. And I'm more concerned about this one for keeping the windshield clear. Then it comes with the fitting when you take the heat sensor out. Then it comes with this hose that comes from the bottom of the radiator. And then it comes with this shutoff so that in the summer you can turn the water off and not put any heat out of here, but you could use the fan to get a little air in the cab. But we're not sure we're going to put this in right now. And then it comes with the assorted clamps, some little nylon washers I think go on this thing. I got some Teflon tape just in case. And then I got a gallon of the Cool Guard 2 because we're going to have to drain the radiator, so I might as well put new stuff in it. Okay, first of all, to start wiring, we had to loosen this top off like this.
It's four screws that come around the outside of the cowl.
And then we had to go in through that plate on the side, which pops off. And then you have to pry this out a little bit so you can get your fingers in there. And we got a wire up through this space here. There's a plug in here, and that's where we're going to mount this switch right there. And then we pull the wire back out once we take the wires to the electrical wires to the wire we pushed up through.
All right, so before you go connecting any hoses, you have to drain out all of the coolant. The coolant petcock is found down here at this little corner. And you just loosen that sucker up, and hopefully you'll get all your fluid.
That funnel damn near works. Just about.
There we go.
Perfect.
Probably better off using a hose, but in a pinch.
You're the oldest dude I ever met, and you're 3 years younger than me.
I'm aware.
In a pinch. Nerd. Those guys are working on the hoses, and we'll get some video of that as well. I'm working on the heater switch. We're going to run it up through this blank plug that was here. I did a couple modifications on the bottom of this. It has like a ridge, so we filed it out. I don't know if you can really see it. You can see where it's filed flat so that the heater switch rests flat on there. And the switch is a little bit large to fit here. So I'm going to file out the edge here so that that'll slip nice and neat down in there. And then you just plug in these three things accordingly. Orange wire, which is going to be our yellow because we don't have an extra orange, is going to go there on the top. Then you have the red goes in here from the heater, and then here goes to the battery. So heater orange, heater red, and then you can see the B for battery goes all the way down if you want to just take a peek this way. So orange, red to the heater, red to the battery with a fuse. And that'll all get hooked up from these wires that come out, and essentially the heater will sit right here. The hoses that they're going to cut in a few minutes are going to actually come through here underneath the motor and over the motor in two different ways. So we'll show you the return and the inlet as they start cutting in the hoses. And there we are. How about it? Switch it. It's a little loose, but who gives a care? It doesn't come out. What's important is that it's tight.
I'm still draining the fluid.
Sounds like a peeing. Struggles of videos, you know?
Okay, go ahead.
The production. You got to put stuff back together after you figure out how to take it apart.
All right,
So we can show you how to take it apart.
Whenever you're, is it on? Are you just
Oh,
saying
it's
that?
on.
Before you can get to any of these hoses to work with it properly, you have to take off the air filter. There's 2 clips on either side. And then take that sucker out.
Oh, it's long.
Oh, it's so long.
It's deep in there.
Yeah, there's 2 of them.
Oh, that's unique.
Dual
Well,
air
we didn't
filter.
have to take the other one out.
Just take it.
Well, it's in there.
It's already out.
Take it. All right, so this is a 21 millimeter socket. It does fit on there. It'd be better to do a deep well, but I was able to break it loose. And that sucker just comes right off of there. That's not correct. There it is. This is correct. I'm assuming they provide that collar so that you can set it to the right position, as the hose has to be pointing upward. The collar that comes with this, that fits the thread pattern and size of where the sensor comes out. The problem
It's
is,
this silver
yeah,
fitting, this first fitting in there goes in first.
so that's where this comes into play. And as you go in, you want to tighten it down, but the problem that arises is your hose won't be facing downward, or won't be facing upward, excuse me. So they provide some plastic washers.
What do you got, John?
Included in the kit, you have 3 nylon washers. 1, 2, 3. There's a collar that fits into the original input. And then your adapter fits into said collar, plastic washer or nylon washer in between each. Then your sensor installs into the adapter, another nylon washer on that. That will give you a nice tight fit, and you'll be facing upward. Then you install the new hose, male end. That's a 19 millimeter.
How about it? Now we're getting into the scary stuff.
One of my favorite things to do is cut things.
Okay, there's
It's also one of the most terrifying things to do.
hose clamp.
So now the big deal is you got to cut your perfectly good radiator hose.
There's a cover
Yeah.
that attaches right here. Take that off because you don't want to be in the way of your oil access. So we're going to cut it here, install the new T section. We're going to bring a hose just down and below, and then we'll show you where we feed it through underneath the motor to get it to the other side.
Okay, what we've done is put the little plastic bushings in the holes that are already in the cab. You gotta punch the caps out, snap these in, it protects the hose. We attach the unit to the plate that's already in the cab. And now we attach the first hose, ran it out, and this is gonna go over to where the heat sensor is. So we're working on that right now.
And this is where it attaches. That piece of the Curtis cab is already there. And those 3 screws just come out of the unit and hold it tight. It's pretty sturdy. This one will do your vent up to the windshield, and then these will be heating your feet, and this will be heating whatever else you want to heat. This thing comes with a long length of hose. You're gonna have to cut it and run it how they show. So your hose is going to come out, kind of just lays here, zip tie it in a couple locations, and it runs over the top of this and down into your fitting there. Wiring now, got to do the black, the orange, and the red, which is this over here.
Let me show you what I'm looking at.
No,
See what I'm talking about?
there you go,
I
arguing
cut it
again.
too high.
But this is going to get wired up.
Where's the thing? Do you have
You can see these run out, come down. One goes up over the motor.
I don't know where it is.
One goes down under the motor, under the oil pan, and then it'll come out right there on the bottom. And now we're getting ready to cut this hose here to put the T-fitting, which John has right there, and then attach that hose in there. The last piece before we go, fill in the antifreeze. So we're using the old antifreeze, it's still very clean. The bucket is brand new. We have a little extra in case. All right, we're all installed now. Buzzed through a couple things at the end, but we'll show you how we did it. Heater switch is there in the initial plug. Got this mounted with the 3 side plate screws on the Curtis cab. Wires come down through out of that plug. They come up over the hoses, zip tied to it, and then they are wired underneath. That should turn it on. Then the wires come out of the bottom, and there's a little thing right here you can see, maybe right there. That goes all the way through where the power wire goes down in there. I don't know if you can see that, it's kind of really hard. But the power wire goes down through there, comes back out, and we drill the second hole for the battery drain, and we came up through like the power wire does to here. All the fuses are in. We got 2 ground wires for the lights, 2 ground wires, 1 for the lights, 1 for the heater. We got the hoses come out. 1 goes up underneath the oil pan, as we described. 1 goes up over the top, inside the air box. Air box is back on. You can see here where the little valve is on the top. There's where the heater hose goes in. Then down here, you cut that other heater hose right there, and then the T comes from the other side and goes boom, right there. Action!
All right, so we have completed our jobs for the day. One of them installing a new heater, and one of them putting on the snowblower. As you can see, our switch is in. Good installation. It spins, and because it's hooked up direct to power, it will turn on its own without the power to the tractor being on. The heater itself is on the other side. Part of the Curtis cab comes with the bracket, which we saw before. Everything's on properly, everything closes off nice. We're good there. Airbox back on, hoses all installed, up and over as they show in the directions. Our electricity run through using the same set of bungs as the main power. Everything hooked in correctly because it works. We did have to do a little extra tightening here, simply because we had a small leak. But after putting in an extra nylon washer at the other side over here, we were able to take care of that one, and now that all works. Here's our T hooked up, the secondary hose that runs underneath the tractor. We have it attached to the motor mount to keep it away from the oil pan, just in case of some overheating. We still have to install the last little guard panel here. We just left that off so we could show the T.
And then the last thing we got this over the summer last year to put on the tractor.
Got the cab,
What's that?
which is why we got the cab.
Oh, of course. So you got the cab, and the reason we got the cab is so that eventually we could get the 54-inch snowblower, run off the mid PTO of the John Deere tractor. There's probably one last addition we'll do, but I don't know if we'll be running that in a series. But they have all electric power or PTO power, both to hydraulic to lift this thing up and down, also hydraulic power to spin this. But they have an electric unit that I think we're going to add eventually that actually adjusts the pitch of this chute.
You can see there's holes here to attach the actuator and holes down here. So eventually it attaches the pins there and we'll move it.
Push the chute up and down. But all in all, it worked out well.
It gets
Just the
hot.
one minor leak. No leaks up in here. The wiring's run real clean. The only leak was that one little one on that 19mm bolt, and we tightened that down. But it's all done. This is the.
Well, one more thing.
What do you gotta do? Oh, the switch.
We did not install this switch. This switch turns off the feed into the heating unit.
Yeah, you would install it in this top line somewhere. I mean, we might do it, but we'll just see how it goes. If it gets way too hot in the summer, we might want to stop the flow inside the tractor. But all in all, I think we'll be fine with it. Good call out, John. The ash is all done. Big light on top. Wiper's working. It is 100% ready, so Dad can feel like a little diva in his little cab because he gets cold in the winter.
It's chilly out there.
He
It
gets a
wasn't
little
cold.
cold.
It was keeping the front windshield so I could see out of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Say what you will.
Good job, everyone. We're all ready to go. It is off, so you could hear the blower. I wanted to get this video out, and we were going to do a temperature reading, but we figured you might want to figure out how it works before winter. So, most scientific way I could figure out on how to show you that the vents actually work is with these sweet papers. So, here it is. We're all closed in. Here's stage 1. And that's pretty loud. You see the papers wiggling, and then here's stage 2. And they are really, there's a lot of air blowing out of there. Gonna get real hot when the tractor's running. Should get you toasty warm and make sure that your windshield doesn't fog up or ice up. So, good luck out there. Again, if you need anything, let us know.